Recording is in progress. Hello, everybody. Daryl Snyder. Happy Sunday to you. This is our daily deeper dive podcast. I'll be soloing it today as Brandon. Believe it or not, he's on assignment. He's actually on the golf course walking it, waiting for his shoulder to heal. So he's visualizing hitting the ball today, but he's out in a beautiful course. He sent me some pictures and I spoke to him earlier. He should be back in action tomorrow. This is the Deeper Dive podcast we do daily, thus the name, Daily Deeper Dive Podcast, in conjunction with one of our awesome partners, Ballpark Pal. They do a couple of things. They provide us with these charts, and they also are one of the 7 player projection feeds inside of the Contrarian Edge Optimizer. So let's jump right in. Nice 8-game slate starting in about an hour and 15 minutes. I entered max 150, so I have some editing to do. Had a great day yesterday. Played 150 max, used the stack attack mode, locked in a couple pitchers, and played the 50-cent game and ended up doing quite well. Turned $75 into over 600. One of my lineups placed second, another third. It was a great day. Had some nice stacking going on with the auto stack inside the optimizer. I posted those results on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, FS Logic for Fantasy Sports Logic, you'll see the results posted there. So let's jump right in. We have 5 charts now. We've added a 5th one, which is a nice weather chart, along with the stadium report, starting pitcher preview, DFS report, and the daily home run report. Excuse me. He does, he being Aaron at Ballpark Pal, simulates an MLB slate, the games today, 3,000 times after he comes up with these stats. You'll see Mookie Betts projected almost 30% to hit a home run today against Kyle Freeland, the left-hander for the Rockies. 25% matchup boost for Mookie, and Chavez Ravine playing favorable, 20% boost with weather. We'll show you that here in a few moments. Excuse me. A familiar face, Ohtani, 27% probability to hit a home run today. He's got a nice boost against the Astros pitcher and a 4% park boost in Houston. So it looks like the matchup is favorable. An Oakland A, he's been on a little bit. Zach Geloff, he 1-in-4 shot at hitting a home run. Nice 15% boost with Trevor Williams for the Nats. The neutral, Washington playing neutral today. Not much of a boost weather-wise. A Tiger, he appears on here every once in a while. Spencer Torkelson, almost a 1-in-4 shot, 24% to hit a home run today against Cutter Crawford. Crawford for the Red Sox. That game is in Boston. Neutral matchup, 13% park boost. Probably a little wind blowing out, maybe more to right than at the Green Monster. And then Freddie Freeman, a Dodger, another nice matchup boost against Freeland. Freeland hits lefties probably as good as any left-handed batter in the game today. Some other solid matchups, Riley Green against Cutter Crawford, Brandon Drury of the D-backs, Mickey Manayak of the Angels. Another nice matchup against the Astros pitcher. You see here the boost, 56%, 32, 42. Alonso for the Mets. He could pop today. He's projected well. Has a boost of 36, matchup 32. And then Montero against those Dodgers, the only Rocky that we see today on the charts, at least the home run report, to have a nice boost. Here's the fantasy report. He does a nice job by position, 3 of the top players, 9 pitchers and outfielders. You can see a lot more information if you go to ballparkpal.com. We just like to bring over the meat of this information, allowing you to use it in correlation with the optimizers for your daily fantasy lineup, or perhaps your player prop picks on our partner site. Drafters has a nice player prop area in there as well. Here's the starting pitcher preview. Whoops, I didn't talk about this. Got ahead of myself there. Trying to go too fast to make sure I leave time for you all to look at the info before the early slate locks. Got Freeman and Bettis, the top of the first and second. That spark plug for the Reds, L.A. De La Cruz at third base, along with Devers and Hayes for Pittsburgh. He's been hot lately. Lindor for the Mets at short. Alvarez, the young, promising catcher for the Mets, is on top of Will Smith and J.T. Realmuto for the Phillies. Got Ohtani, Turner, who's starting to heat up. I don't know if you saw, he talked about it the other day. He took out a lot of billboard space in Philly, thanking the fans. Felt bad his start. He got like a $300 million contract. They appreciated it. They gave him standing ovation. He started to heat up. So I think there's a mental thing there that's ignited him. And then Kyle Schwarber. He is projected. You see the first number is FanDuel projected points in blue, and the green is for DraftKings. Pitchers, Eflin, Peralta, Webb trying to stop that giant skid. They need him today. That's not in the early slate. That's an afternoon game. And then Bybee for the Guardians. So Eflin, I think I locked him in. I locked Peralta in. I played 4 pitchers and faded all the rest. Those were 2. You can see Cole's down there, Perez, Senga for the Mets, Urias for the Dodgers, Miller for the Mariners. Round out those 9. And then in the outfield, he's always there. Acuna, what a year. He's got to be MVP, right? Guy has like 50 stolen bases, 20, maybe 25 home runs, ton of RBIs. I think Olsen might be neck and neck. Olsen's got 100 and I think over 110 RBIs already, but Acuna projected the top of the outfield position, 10 DraftKings points. I think he'll probably do a little better than that. There's a Tiger Green. He's been playing well since he's come back off the DL. Tatis for the Padres, Ruiz. You can see there's a Cub in there, Morel, Yoshida with the Red Sox, Corbin Carroll having a nice year for the D-backs, and Brandon Nimmo for the Mets. Here's the starting pitcher preview. It's in a report card style charting process. He overall on the left, the grades, and then the last 1,000 pitches of the preferred pitch. All right, tongue twisted a little bit. Preferred pitch for the pitchers of the day. The dark red and the orange are not good. The green is really good. You see Cole grants a lot of green overall AA. All of his pitches coming out nicely. Four-seam fastball, slider, knuckle curve. Throws the four-seam fastball 50% of the time. Straight A's projected at a little over 6 strikeouts. As look at Perez matched up. That game could be a 1-0, 2-1 type pitchers duel today. Perez almost identical numbers. Projected a shade lower in runs, 0.6 lower. Who else pops out today? Got Sonny Gray with a matchup with the Phillies. I like Sonny. I don't like it against the Phillies and not in that park today with those bats starting to heat up. Harper, I think Harper's still sidelined, so you're minus him. You got Schwarber and Turner in there, and you have some bats, so you will have to navigate. Logan, looking good, trying to defeat the Rangers today. The Rangers took the first 2. That is an afternoon game. What else do we have? We've got on the opposite end, you might want to target some Dodgers. I think that's an afternoon game too. Freeland not having a good year. Projected to give up almost 4 runs in a little over 5 innings. Only 3 strikeouts. This might be the ESPN game here. Chinos for the Braves against Senga. Senga projected 7 strikeouts against that gas house gang type of Braves lineup. I mean, 1 through 9, there are no holes there. Harris has started to heat up. They moved him from 9th to 8th yesterday. I mean, you got Riley, you got Acuna, Albies, Murphy, D'Arnaud, who plays DH or catches, Arcaya. I mean, solid. And Olsen probably left somebody out, but they're all very strong. So that's going to be a tough matchup for Senga, but he's graded out well. So, and that showdown slate could be interesting. Feel free to use this as you may. Here's what we added just the last couple of days. This is a weather and stadium report. You can see if it's cool somewhere. I don't think we have below 55 anywhere. Oakland sometimes in the 60s as an Oracle. Super hot, you'll see that a lot of places. We're in late summer. Here's the wind. What they mean, 3 bars is 15 and over winds, 2 is 10 to 14. Humidity plays a factor, above 75%, better carry, worse carry. The barometric pressure is a little bit, looks like if it's higher, 1019, lower, better for carry, roof closed, wind out. So here's the stadium report, and you can look at some of these matches with the symbols, right? There's a hot in Washington, over 90. Is that 2 bars? Yeah, 10 to 14 mile an hour wind, light winds in Fenway and Pittsburgh, but blowing out. Fenway's got the biggest boost of the day. 21% runs overall, home runs 16, doubles, triples 16, and singles 9. So there could be some runs scored in that Red Sox Tigers game. Nationals, a little bit of a boost, but the winds are blowing across, maybe more out to right, 10 to 14 miles an hour. T-Mobile in Seattle has a red P, so it's worse for carry, according to Ballpark Pal. On the opposite end of the spectrum, Oracle Park, even though the winds are blowing out and there is a H for above carry, it's still projected 33% less home runs today, 7% overall. A little boost with doubles and triples. So hopefully the Giants can find some gaps. They need it. Minute Maid Park in Houston with the dome. They plays just a shade above, 4% boost in home runs, 8% and 7% down in doubles, triples, and singles. Okay, covered that pretty quick. We got some exciting announcements, Fantasy Sports Logic. Yours truly, Daryl Snyder, Brandon Abbey. Partner with Drafters and Sportstopia to bring you While They Last, $699.97. What do you get? It's a one-time fee. You get 10 $20 entries into the Drafters $2 million best ball contest. A lot of buzz about that. There's an overlay available right now. Not sure if that'll fill up. It's picking up a lot of steam with just a few weeks to go before season. That contest has a $300,000 first prize. You'll also receive a $100 deposit credit. So there's about $300 worth of value. You will receive a lifetime subscription to the Contrarian Edge Optimizer, currently valued at almost $300. That price will go up. It's an end beta price, but if you lock that in, you'll see we have MLB, what I used yesterday to cash out nicely. NFL is starting to be loaded. We will have NBA, and we will add PGA. So you get all those sports, one place, one price, included in that package. A lot of value there. Bonus, you'll also receive member only, VIP member only, that's what the package is, to tournaments that you won't have to pay any entry fees, and they will have nice prizes. And we're also giving you access to Sportstopia, premium content when that goes live. Excited about that. There's a little sportstopia.io splash page. You can read the about. Excited about Ed Williams, former content director, NBCSports.com and Roto World. He's bringing back an awesome team. It's going to be a one-stop place for daily articles and videos covering fantasy sports for MLB, NFL, NBA, PGA, and videos, and a lot of other. There'll be a lot of people ask about sports wagering. It's not legal here in California, but definitely will be covering that topic on a daily basis. That in conjunction with Las Vegas Television Network, got a nice deal going with those guys. They're going to be streaming into millions of households. So you'll be able to watch that show on a streaming network as well, along with Virus Sports. We have some things going on there. So there is a lot of value with that Sportstopia access in that package. And that's not it. You get to participate in a royalty rewards program that's pretty aggressive. We're going to set aside about 20% of the entities, Sportstopia, Fantasy Sports Logic, some relationships with companies like drafters, and it's pretty simple. It's called patronage. The more you play, the more you engage in the content, and the more you share it, the more you will participate in a larger share of the 20%. So I think that's never been done before. The only reason that Fantasy Sports Logic, places like drafters, Sportstopia, the only way they succeed is with people getting involved with it, right? There are some incredible evaluations of different fantasy platforms, of media platforms. Content is king. Excited about that. Sportstopia, there's a couple of movies. So there's one in specifically The Game Within, the history of fantasy sports. We'll be producing with advisors like Peter Schenke from Roto World and Ed Williams and some of the most respected historians talking about where fantasy sports came from, both rotisserie baseball when it emerged and the pigskin prognosticators in football and how it evolved. And that'll be a nice documentary with a docu-series. You'll get access to that first as a member, probably at a reduced rate. So again, there's so much value while it lasts. Those obviously those best ball tickets won't be available forever. So there's a huge promotion. I won't talk about who it is. You'll start to hear it. We're partnering with a group that has a lot of influence in the fantasy sports world. They are going to be promoting the optimizer and that package while it lasts. So what is this optimizer, you say? Well, here it is. It's the Contrarian Edge optimizer, has a contrarian mode on or off. I leave it on. That was to get different. As you watch my videos, or if you get to know me in person, a lot of people say I am definitely different. So came up with the contrarian mode. We think we're the only place that has 7 live player projection feeds, and not just any feed, but the elite providers in the industry. Talking Ballpark Pal, we are the first that they've entered into providing their feed, 3,000 simulations. We have the Baker engine, first time it's ever been offered in baseball. 10,000 simulations. It's provided by sports.io with Charles Collins there. We have their legacy feed and the Baker feed. FTN data with Frank, 40,000. Yes, you heard that right. He simulates a game 40,000 different times. RotoWire, I talked about Peter Schenke. You have Shannon there as well. If you're anywhere involved in fantasy sports, they have been around a long time. They provide data to the who's who. You can look on their site, ESPN, DraftKings, FanDuel, so on and so on. We are excited to get their player projection feed. Sport Radar, Dan Williams, longtime veteran of the industry. We get a feed from them. And then Stats Perform, probably not a lot of people know, but they've been around a long time, since the 80s. We work with Corey over there. He's been around with them since the late 90s. So what's that all mean? It means in one place, currently you can test drive it for $1 for 7 days. People have been coming in and doing that. And then after the 7 days, we don't auto renew you. You can either choose a $29.97 monthly, all sports, all this functionality, or you can get while it lasts a lifetime, one time, $299.97, never pay again, all sport, one place. Football coming up. We'll have at least all of these feeds except for Ballpark Pal. He's currently baseball only. So it allows you to see what everybody's projecting. And then we have a FPO, you see right there. That's our proprietary blend of the 7 with a secret sauce. That's what I used yesterday to do quite well. And again, a disclaimer, this information is for entertainment and edutainment purposes only, not guaranteeing anything. I did well. You could do well. I could do not so well. You could do not so well. But if you're not using a tool like this, you're probably playing against a lot of people that are. And over the years, there are some amazing optimizers that some of the top players in the world are using. My vision was to create value, price that was affordable. I think we are one of the most affordable, if not, for everything you get in one place. And then I wanted it super simple, dumbed down to Daryl. I've never written a line of code. I've had some internet companies. I used AOL for the longest time and then Gmail because it was hard for me to figure out how to use other mail programs. That's the truth. I have to have people set stuff up for me. So when I had our chief technologist, who is a brilliant man with a brilliant team, listen to me about this idea, I said, you got to keep it super simple, right? If it does amazing things and no one can figure it out, it isn't going to be worth anything. So 8 months later, this thing is flying and screaming, and we're finally open to where I feel comfortable incoming right now. And there are people coming in with these special prices, but you can just hit generate lineups. What I'm excited about that we just created, I mean, if you want to lock in a picture or two, I did that yesterday. I locked in 2 and I ran on 150 with as much diversity as I could, and it did very well for me. Sometimes you just got to take a stand. I know there's a player out there. He's one of the best in the world, Big T. He goes by the name Big T. I think his name's Tony. That would make sense. He is a part of Run Pure Sports, and I've listened. I still subscribe to listen to their content. He said something that stuck with me. You know, you got to take a stand. I mean, you can't be all over the place. So you take a stand with a pitcher or 2. Today I took a stand with 4. And then I faded some teams. Yesterday I faded some teams. Obviously fade the teams that my pitcher is facing. That doesn't always work perfectly, but you know, I don't want to root for the hitters against my pitcher that I'm hoping throws a no-hitter, right? Or a shutout. So shout out to Big T. If I tag him in this, because it's helped me. They have great content over there. That team is they keep adding people, right? So good group of people. They have another optimizer they use. I chose to create this one for me and whoever wants to join me, which hopefully will be thousands and tens of thousands. And my goal is like 1.3 million, 3% of the 60 million players. We got a couple other products coming out. We have the machine in Taguchi Brain. The stuff is patented since 2013, optimizer. I think the patent's posted on the site somewhere, but one of the few patented technologies today with AI, Chat GPT 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it's at now. Machine learning advancements almost by the day. So what can you do? Let's just say, I'll just see what it says, right? I faded all the pictures but 4 today. I'm not going to give those 4 out to you right now, but you can see what it's doing. I went into stack attack mode. Do I want to lock anybody? I want to lock I don't see any Braves, so that makes it easier. Braves must be on a different slate, right? Ellie De La Cruz against Pittsburgh as a position player. I'm just going to let it do its thing. Maybe let's see if I lock Cole. Cole against those Marlins, most expensive on the slate, 11.5. There he is. He pops up. You'll see the blend, the Baker, the Ballpark Pal, the FTN, the RotoWire, the little slider that will show me the other three. But I'm going to go into stack attack mode. I played 5 yesterday. Normally on a slate like this, 8-game slate, team goes off, scores double-digit runs. You have 5 players that correlate in that stack, gives you an edge. You got to nail the pitchers. Yesterday I was fortunate, locked in 2, and I think they were the optimal pitchers for the day. What were they? Again, it's on Twitter, but what were they? My memory, because I do all this data crunching. They were Woodruff got me 20 points, and Gonzalez got me 25. I went after those Rocky bats, and it paid off. So Woodruff might not have been optimal, but 20 was enough to get me out second and third in that little mini max. Okay, it's calculating, right? 5. It locked in that pitcher. You can stack individually. I chose to use a stack attack in auto, which is going to get, other than who I fade and lock in, going to give me some coverage. Like I said, you might want to make a stand somewhere on a pitcher or 2. It's risky. I mean, if they go down all your lineups, but it has an upside. Stack attack mode, I let it, you see it went generate lineups orange. I'm going to turn the stack attack mode to on. That's going to get me as different with Cole in every lineup matched up with different pitchers. Let me show you something good. It's calculating 8 games. It's hundreds of thousands of different, that little message there will go away. Didn't affect anything. It's something in the code that they are getting out, but you can see Cole and Perez matched up. Cole and Perez, Cole and Eflin, Silseth and Cole and Dylan Cease, kind of get it? And then look at the, look at the stacks. Here you got a Pittsburgh stack with De La Cruz as an off guy. Rivas, he's a Pittsburgh guy. You got Jansen for the Toronto catching. So you got a Pittsburgh stack. You got a Washington stack. You got a Minnesota stack. You have another Washington stack. These are all the providers and who they kind of flavor or favor for the day. There's some more Pittsburgh. There's an Oakland stack. You would definitely be getting different with Cole and Keller. A couple of nice pitchers. There's Sonny Gray and Cole with a White Sox stack, right? You get it. And then you can see, you can go to see, there's some Reds. That's never a bad stack. With McLean, Friedel, Spencer Steer, and Pagario. Is that a Pittsburgh or a Cincinnati? Pittsburgh, 1, 2, 3. No, that's a Pittsburgh with 3 Reds. So want 5-3 there. So the blend again is a proprietary secret sauce of all of them. Let's say you like this. Say, I kind of like that. Show me. You can do 150. It's what I did earlier. I'll just show you with 20. Show me 20 different variations. It shows you it's working on it. Max exposure shows me the different lineups, right? Look at the different stacks. I got a Toronto. It threw a, if you saw it, it threw a CSV file up there. It could upload. I've already uploaded for DraftKings the main early slate. But so 2 stacks: Tampa Bay, Toronto, Brewers, Yankees. 1 for Minnesota, Houston, Cincinnati, Philly, the Cubs, the Marlins, right? And what you can do, show you real quick. If I would have scrolled down, it would have showed you all those, but I wanted to get to the pro settings. show you what's going on here. May have to refresh it to do that because it might be running through. Hold on a second here. No, oh, it did update. Okay, let me show you the pro settings. We update the data every 30 minutes. It's important, especially getting close to lock, to see what players might have been scratched. But you can go on pro settings here. You can do a lot of things manually. You can fade teams. I did that yesterday. It automatically, if you click opposing pitchers, it'll fade the teams that your pitchers are facing. Sometimes that can work in your advantage. Sometimes if a guy hits 2 home runs and they were solos, and your pitcher still did well by going 6 or 7 innings and getting some strikeouts, you may have missed out on 28 points. But I tend to try to fade the opposing teams when I pitch against them, and I rarely, if ever, take a pitcher against the Braves. You know why? They crush. You can get individual here, all the pitchers, min and max exposure settings, right? Whatever you want to do with that. Position players, it says there's 234 potential players playing in the early slate. So hopefully that helped you to get a little bit of an idea. Again, you can test drive at $1, 7 days. If you like what you see, lock yourself in at that monthly or the lifetime. That's probably going to go to a yearly once we get out of beta, but we'll be in beta for a little bit with football just coming in, and then NBA October. We'll have 3. We'll have the baseball, the playoffs, the NFL will be in full swing, and then NBA. So it's going to be fun, all in one place, all with multiple data providers. Stack attack mode. Stacking in football is good as well. Real important in football to get, as it is in baseball, try to find that lower owned player that flies under the radar, that pops. And I've seen that in the Millie Maker. You look at the lineup and shake your head, you know, like, wow, how did that person pick that guy? Well, probably we're using an optimizer. So hopefully you're having an amazingly awesome, super spectacular Sunday. And just as important, a prosperous DFS day. I'm going to do what I do this time every day. I'm going to end the recording and I'm going to render it for everyone to see. Thank you. See you tomorrow.